There are truly tons of options with a MatchFit work holding system, but first, let me show you how we made it. I'll start by breaking down some 3/4 inch oak plywood to make the top for a workbench. So I haven't used the MatchFit system before. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to fit into my workflow, so I didn't want to dedicate an entire workbench build to it. I wanted to first see how it fit within the projects that I make. So I'm breaking things down and I'm just going to make an accessory top that goes on top of my workbench. That way I'll be able to take it on and off. If I really like it, I'll end up making an entire workbench build that has all the MatchFit slots fit into it. I broke everything down using a 40-tooth general purpose blade on the ripping, and for cross-cutting I'm using an 80-tooth cross-cut blade here, as that does a nice job with this red oak plywood, and it's a little bit more splintery than normal plywood. It left a really nice clean cut on both sides of the material, and so we have everything all fully cut. Now we'll move on to staining these pieces. I just used some Varathane Barn Red stain to do that, and it turned out really nice. I like the way that that looks on the oak. I did all of those pieces, and we let those dry overnight, and then we can get to marking out everything. I marked everything out on a 4-inch grid. These side pieces are offset in the center from the top pieces, so I needed to mark everything out using a T-square. This T-square is really nice, and it has a extra lip there, so that way things don't rock on the edge. So that way it keeps everything nice and stable. So it made quick work of lining everything up and marking out the entire top surface. I also really like the holes on the inside as well at all of these 16th inch marks, and that allows me to get everything marked out for the cross pieces as well using the exact same T-square. Went through and did that for all of those. With that done, I can then mark out the side pieces as well that are going to go on the front and sides of the top, and that is offset in half. So I did it on 2-inch centers and then 4 inches between. So I can then use the MicroJig dovetail bit here to route everything out. The smaller pieces we're going to do all on the router table. And I need to make sure that I cut slots in the side here, that way we can fit the clamps into the side pieces as well. So I did all of those, got those all moved out of the way, and then we can use a miter sled here with a backer board, and I can make sure that I get everything marked out in the same location. It's nice having everything all the same size, that way we can do that. I use the center line on the router table to line everything up. This is one of those situations where it's really nice to have the router table mounted to the table saw. I'm able to use the table saw fence in places that I wouldn't be able to use a router table fence, simply because it will not travel far enough. So with it mounted to the table saw, I can use the fence and the miter sled to accurately get all of those lines. I did the same thing on the longer side piece as well, and it worked perfectly. We now have slots that are all ready to go on all of our pieces. We'll get those installed onto the top panel, and I'm using some clamps just to hold everything in place while we're screwing it in. I'm using the adjustable depth Nomar Countersink. This is the 55227. With the adjustable depth stop, I'm able to ensure that I get a countersink that is perfect for the size screw that I'm using. And the depth stop on there ensures that I get it to the same depth every time, and then I can get those screws nice and flush. That way everything looks really nice and it doesn't mar the surface of the material at all. The rest of the screws on the front panel were installed the same way, and then I installed the back panel the exact same way, and we moved on to the side panel and got all of that done as well. You can see why I added those dovetails to the side panel. That way I'm able to run clamps from either side of the front panel without having to worry about only being able to access one side. Now it's time to turn our attention to the top. The top is simply too large to fit on a router table, and so I'm going to use the handheld router to do that. I'm using the Festool OF1400 router, and we're going to get everything all set up. First, I'm going to set the depth that I need. It's really easy to do with the built-in scale. Then you can make sure that you have everything set and ready to go. For the outermost slots, I'm going to use the edge guide, and that just slots in really nice and easy, and there is a nice micro adjust there as well to ensure that you get everything fully lined up. I'll install some dust collection on there, and that just clicks into place. I'll plunge down, lock it in place, and we can start cutting our first slot on the top of the workbench. So routers are notoriously dusty, but with the dust collection installed, the only little bit of dust that we had was right there at the beginning. There is absolutely nothing left in this track. Pretty amazing. I didn't know dust collection on routers could be so good. The first slot on the other side was exactly the same distance, so I used that while I had everything set up. Now these other ones aren't going to reach, so I need to attach it to a track. So I'm getting out the track guide on there, and it has a nice foot that allows you to account for it sitting on the track. That way you keep everything nice and stable and easily able to slide. You can see some chip out that we got on there, but now that we have the side pieces installed, I'm going to use a sacrificial piece. This will prevent any of that chipping. I'll just use the track and the lines on there to line everything up, and then get the track clamped down just on one side. Now we can go through and route the remaining pieces on the top. With the track, it's pretty simple to set everything up and get everything fully lined up. With the router elevated a little bit, there is a little bit of dust left in the channel, but with a remote on there, I can easily go in and just get that all vacuumed back up. Now I get everything switched over, and we'll do the short side pieces as well. And here I actually figured out that I don't even need to take the hose off. I can just run it and then turn the hose back on using the remote, and then I'm able to go back over in a single pass and pick up basically all of that dust that was left. Went through and routed the rest of the short sides, and that way I have all of these slots ready to go here. And you can see as we're coming through on this how much chip out there is on the sacrificial piece, and that is actually protecting our piece. So once we pull that off, all of that chip out is left on the sacrificial piece and nothing is left on the actual top. So that's a really nice tip for making sure that you get nice clean routes. The MatchFit top is now fully done. At its most basic, it'll securely hold workpieces to your workbench. You can also add the grooves on the side, and that actually allows you to turn pieces on edge and work on the edge of a board. Holds up to hand planing extremely well. The magic of the system really shines once you add a few scraps and add some stops to the system as well. I'm just marking out some hole locations that are in line with our dovetail slots and using a drill just to drill out a hole. And basically we can add these dovetail stops in there, and that allows you to create a stop. These clamps have a screw that comes out the back, and you can actually turn those, and this essentially creates a tail vise on the MatchFit system. So now we have a piece that is securely held in place and even holds up to hand tool work like using a router plane or anything like that. Now for sanding, you don't want anything to be sticking up above the surface, that way you don't run into it with your sander. So I'm going to create another one, and for this we'll use the MatchFit 2-step bit here, and I'm using some 1/2-inch plywood. This is going to countersink the hardware below the top of the material, and that way you can get a stop on the workpiece that your sander will not run into, and there's no fear of running into anything there, and your piece is securely held in place. When you use it with 3/4-inch material, there is a nice little round over that it adds on the top there, and that is now ready to go as well. And you have a nice flush top with no hardware sticking above, and you can use the slots to create a clamping jig. That way you can repeatably make things like that. Using a stop, you can also use it as a vertical reference for repeatable end grain work. Using hand tools is the hardest you're ever going to push any sort of work holding solution, and it held up beautifully to using it as a planing stop. The work holding options with the MatchFit system are virtually limitless. I'm really impressed with the system so far and can't wait to see how it fits within my workflow. All of the tools used in this video are available on our website. Be sure to check them out there. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you love this type of content, be sure to subscribe right over here and click right over here for more great videos.